First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
But I said, well, I'm just going to call and come on, we're in Rome.
Yeah.
So I called, and I had to call California, and I'm talking to the person, and I said, you want media passes? I go, yeah, I want to get backstage and do a bunch of stuff with the camera. And they go, where are you calling from? I go, New York. They go, oh, I thought you were one of those small town people trying to get in to meet the celebrities. Give me your address. We're in Rome, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we'll send it right out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you were.
But I was in New York. I'm from
You're
New York.
a small town guy trying to meet all the celebrities.
I'm exactly the person you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and there's a part of this, too, that it didn't really talk much about. But I guess, and I didn't know this, but MTV played a big role in the music lineup. I didn't realize that.
I didn't know that either.
But it's listed in one of the pieces that I read where it's saying, let's see, I'll get it for you. I just had it up here. But it's saying Michael Lang said this was more, his belief was, it should have been, instead of Woodstock, it should have been called MTV Stock, because the producers, he and Schur, according to him, said they had little control, if any, over the lineup and the festival. I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
and then MTV. The one thing I totally remember is MTV getting ripped on and booed and things thrown at.
Oh yeah,
they'd bring the MTV, VJ would come up and intro an act, and people would be throwing bottled water at them and everything.
Really?
Oh yeah. And they were mad, right? Kurt Loder went on and just completely poo-pooed the whole event.
And as it started to fall apart, that was their, now we're going to get you guys back.
But what did they expect with those acts? They're not acts that are...
No.
It's like MTV had become kind of the teeny bopper station by 1999. It was where the young teens would watch, and TSL and all those programs that were on MTV. But if you're like a Rage Against the Machine fan, you're not watching MTV.
No.
And you hate MTV.
No.
They're a part of the establishment.
You want to break something.
Yeah.
You know. Go ahead.
What was the name of that show on MTV?
Was it TSL or whatever it was?
TRL.
See, you're a radio guy. That's time spent listening. It was TRL.
Right,
was what it was. You're correct.
Okay, we just lost a few on the average quarter hour there.
Yeah,
sorry. TRL. Yeah, but again, that wasn't my generation. I didn't watch any of that crap.
No, it like many things, using the name of Woodstock really made it the event that it was.
Yeah.
If it was called anything else, it wouldn't have been like
probably
that.
not.
Come on, would people actually come to a festival expecting to take their clothes off and openly take drugs? No.
Well, and again, when you're, it's a terrible thing, but I liken it far more to a spring break event or a college party. What goes on at college parties? Girls get drunk, guys take advantage of the girls. It happens all the time. But I think today we look at it much differently. It is considered rape, like it really is.
Yeah.
But that's that college. I don't know. It's like amped up juveniles that should be more mature, but not. They're nowhere near the maturity they were back when their parents were that age. Right, an 18-year-old. Today versus an 18-year-old in 1960. Much different. Hobike, I've got about a minute and a half here. Good morning, Joe.
I just tuned in a couple seconds ago, but you guys were talking about the documentary, and I watched it, and I thought it was a one-trick pony because it really didn't reflect in an even manner what went on.
Yeah, they tried to pick
I was there on the grounds for the whole thing, and there was a lot of lighthearted stuff. There was a lot of fun, but yes, focusing on the incident with the fires and the last day, and they kept talking about $4 bottles of water. At one point, one of the Department of Health people and I basically went into, one of the storage containers and pulled out probably 20 cases of water, put them on the back of a gator, and just started handing them out. Because,
yeah. I remember you doing that.
There was a sense that, people were overheating. We did the best we could to negotiate the best deal we could, but, it's kind of applicable to what goes on now. You enter into a MOU, which is not enforceable, but people feel a commitment to, and then if you're not willing to give up the project, or at least to be perceived as giving up the project, you end up in a little bit more difficult bargaining position if you're trying to find a way to yes, which was the effort. So, I'm hoping. Yeah,
I think that I think that you call it one-trick pony. It's exactly what they oversimplified the whole thing and tried to say this is why it happened. And there may have been a little of that, but there was a lot of other stuff that was included as to why it all ended up the way it did.
There was an extensive amount of debauchery at this thing.
No doubt about it. Yeah,
and it was, whatever it was a perfect storm or whatever you want to talk about it. But I mean, there were a lot of people that were making the choices, and there were a number of people that didn't make the choice and had things, foisted upon them.
Yeah.
And, that was a significantly unfortunate part of the, of the concert. But I think there were some really interesting things that happened. I think, number one, we didn't have enough experience with festivals, and we probably could, in hindsight, we could have made some decisions like stopping the music at 9:00, or when it hit, when it became dark. They didn't have I'm going to call it a positive headliner at the end. That
right. You're right, boy. The time of day, and which act played at a certain time of day played all the difference in the world. Joe, I gotta roll on this, but I know you were a part of the whole thing and a part of the planning, and pretty amazing to watch it all in that form, even though I think they got it wrong.
Yeah, they definitely got it wrong. So.
Yep. All right, Joe, thank you.
All right.
Cordelia, stand by. I'm going to get to you coming up in a second. We'll let you, if you don't mind hanging for a second. Cordelia in Rome. But Rick, pretty cool. You made some money off the thing. And you never knew it. You never knew. I'm taping this. I'm doing while everybody else is having fun at Woodstock.
Well, no,
I'm taping it.
I have a problem doing anything unless I'm doing
behind the camera.
Right. If I'm not behind the camera or on the stage or
you're actually more comfortable.
Yeah,
like that,
I can't just go and hang out.
Congratulations, though.
Okay.
All right, you made some dough.